Well, hello there. My name is Dave Taylor. Um, Welcome to my backyard orchard, among other things. It's a cold day here on March 9th, 2012, and I'm just going to take a little walk around. This is my first video being posted to YouTube, so just wanted to kind of introduce you to the backyard if you're so interested. And I guess if you're not interested, you wouldn't be watching this video right now. But anyways, I got kind of bitten by the apple tree bug a couple of years ago and planted 3 dwarf trees. I've got a Cortland, Honeycrisp, and a Sweet 16, and then I'm going to be planting a cherry tree this year, a sweet cherry. It's the black gold variety. That'll be coming in the next few weeks, so I'll be getting that planted as well. But I'll show you a little way around here. Right here is the Honeycrisp tree, and this one, you probably can't see the whole thing until I step back here, but this is a 5-year-old tree already. I got it at Lowe's in Manitowoc. I live in Two Rivers, Wisconsin, which is literally 1 mile away from Lake Michigan, so it's kind of cold here. But anyways, yeah, got this at Lowe's. It was already 3 years old when I got it, so I pruned it back pretty darn hard, just so that it would give a chance for the roots to take hold, and it's taken off pretty well. You'll see it was this tall, which is that's roughly 4 feet or something when I first headed the top of it. And of course my dog over there, she was a puppy, you know, only a couple months old at the time, so she actually if you can see this, she actually tried to tear this tree out of the ground, so it suffered some mutilation and lost some branches there the first year, which is why I have the chicken wire fence around it. So I kind of nurtured it and let these lower scaffolds grow as they pleased the first summer, and then I pruned them back real hard because I still wanted the roots to be able to take off. So you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know, 6, 7 scaffold branches kind of in the lower 3 feet of the tree, and they still seem kind of short to me. I think I pruned them back a little too hard, so there's not too many fruit buds on those yet. There are a few, but not as many as I would have liked to have seen. But anyways, this tree, I'm amazed at how high it's gone without going outwards. It just kind of goes up, up, up. See if I can get a better view here. And it's about 8.5 feet high right now, and it doesn't grow out so much as it grows up. So I'm kind of wondering if I should just chop that top off real hard and all the upper branches to get it to bush out a little better, because it's just so darn tall. And supposedly this is a dwarf, but I think it's a semi-dwarf, because it's awfully huge for a tree that was only half its size a couple of years ago. So anyways, yeah, I planted these in 2010, and this one was already 3 years old when I got it. So, but I expect to see some fruit on there this year. Now if we come over here, we'll see the Cortland. Now this tree, I think it's a classic beauty. This thing is 3 years old, and geez, I wonder if you can see through the chicken wire very well. But anyways, I'm trying to see the screen as I film here. Just using a real junker of a camera. But anyways, yeah, this one just spreads beautifully. I'll show you inside here. There's a nice whirl of branches. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nice long, 2-foot scaffolds on there. And then there's another whirl up here, another 5 branches. Those I'm probably gonna cut back, head back a little bit to help give a little bit more light to the lower ones so that they can develop their fruit buds this year. This one is almost 6 feet high. This is the Cortland. And so I'm actually not going to prune this one too hard this year, except it got really bushy on this side. So I'll probably end up, in fact, this one split 4 different ways. So I'm probably going to snip this baby off here. I don't know. I might end up taking this branch off here because it's going to shade this lower one that's a stronger branch. Another interesting thing about this tree is I successfully grafted onto here. This branch here, it's healed real nice. I did the what do you call it? I don't know. It's the Stephen Hayes method. You cut a V-notch in there, and that there is a foxwhelp. It's an old cider variety. It's just this pencil here. It only grew a ½ an inch. It only grew a ½ an inch, but it actually blossomed, and the bud is real fat on there. So I expect a lot of growth out of that one this year. But this nurse branch over here, right next to it, geez, I gotta watch what I'm doing. Anyways, off of the same branch, I'm gonna have to prune that off so that it's not competing with something else on the same branch. Now this over here is the Sweet 16 tree. This one, unfortunately, grows in the shade for half of the day, and my dog successfully uprooted it twice in its first year. So you'll see that it's really only about 4 feet high. It did really well the first year considering the damage. It was damaged. It was only less than a foot high. Gosh, this is so hard to see, ain't it? But anyways, yeah, you can see. If I had a stick I could point at it, but right in the middle of the screen there, that's as high as it was after she busted the tree, basically down to 1 foot high. That's all I had left, but then it grew pretty good in the past 2 years. Like I said, most of this growth is from the very first year, and then last year it developed this nice whirl of, again, 5 branches, and they're all nicely spread. What I did with all 3 of these trees was when the branches were still green yet, I used clothespins to get them all down less than a 45-degree angle. I wanted to kind of shoot for a right angle to maximize fruiting. And there's also a stupid little branch that I allowed to grow off of the first foot, and I'm just doing that as sort of an experiment to see if I'd get fruit buds, and sure enough there's a whole bunch on there. And also the main trunk just formed just a ton of fruit buds last summer, so I'm actually going to let probably a couple of those fruit this year and snip all the rest off, because I don't want to stunt the growth of this tree any further than it already is. I'm not going to really prune this one at all, although what I am going to do, I don't intend to prune it, but I am going to graft over, all but one of the branches to another cider variety. I want to try Kingston Black. And so my plan for this tree is really, I'm going to let it grow up and be a Sweet 16 tree, except the lower four of the lower scaffold branches are actually going to be a completely different variety, Kingston Black. And then the upper portion of the tree then will be the Sweet 16. So I figured I want to get a good start on the Kingston Black, because that's not a very vigorous variety as it is. It's low vigor, it doesn't produce real well, so I want to give that the best chance it can have. And then the Sweet 16 then can take up the rest of the space. Over here, you see my dog's been digging in here. She apparently wanted to eat the roots of the strawberry patch that I had over here. They all died last summer because I didn't water them. Kind of was lazy, and they all died. I only had 3 plants though anyways, so I think I got like a grand total of 2 strawberries all summer. But it doesn't matter. This is where the cherry tree is going to go, right here, this exact spot. And of course, that cherry tree, it's not going to have the very best opportunity because there's a 200-year-old silver maple that's probably going to end up drooping down and shading this tree somewhat, especially as it grows older. So the sweet cherry, it might try to compete for space with this big 200-year-old silver maple, but oh well. I'm sure it'll still produce a few cherries just fine. more than we need, I'm sure. And just to kind of show you around, this is the lilac with the white blossoms, and it's definitely a dwarf variety because this is the size it's been since I moved into this house 10 years ago, actually 11 years ago. It's been exactly the same size for that whole time. But a number of the old branches had died, so I've actually cut those off. But it's a nice accent to the middle of the yard here, along with the play set, of course, over here. You got the kids like to play on there. As long as you're still here, this is a box elder that I moved over here. It was just randomly growing in my yard. So I thought, well, I got this big frickin' ugly gray wall of a garage or storage building from the neighbors. It'd be nice to be able to cover that up with something. So I'm actually gonna do like a pseudo espalier type thing, you know, where I keep on cutting back these branches on the box elder. I'm also going to put a dogwood over here, but it's kind of a spreading tree as it is, so I'm just going to keep on pruning her so that the branches get as complex as possible, and it'll be kind of a neat hedge sort of a thing over on the side next to the regular purple lilacs. We actually had a major casualty here a couple years back. This was a grand old lilac bush all around here, and we had a bad snowstorm, and the biggest part of the bush just snapped right off, and ended up having to saw the rest of it off. There was two occurrences. This one happened last winter. So that's part of what you see here, which is why it's so thin here. And then this was a major piece of it over here. Just snapped her right off. It makes me wonder if the lilac wood is quite weak by nature, and it has this strange tendency to want to, you know, grow sideways anyways. So so I'm sure that had something to do with it as well. The yew tree next to it here, when the snow comes real bad, it just bends over all the way down to the ground, but it never breaks. Real soft wood. So, geez, what else can I show you? Oh gosh, these are my blackberries. My baby blackberry that I planted last year. It's probably going to produce, again, like a grand total of 10 berries or something this year. This is a silver maple, a baby silver maple, if you can see that, that I found growing in the yard, and I allowed this one, I actually transplanted it over here. I'm going to allow it to grow. It's going to be a nice slow grower, but I thought maybe it would help cover up this bare spot. You know, 30 years from now. But, I guess I'll show you my hop hills over here. I got, this is where I grow my hops for home brewing. I got two hop hills. This is a Cascade, and this is a Holler Tower, German hop, American hop. And they climb up these 13-foot posts, and they grow in the shade of the giant 200-year-old tree. So where normal hop growers would probably get a pound of hops per plant, I get about an ounce or two ounces if I'm lucky. But that's enough for my small batches that I make. It's a perennial plant. They grow, they die and grow back every single year. If I post another video, you'll see what they look like in the summer. So, anyways, that's me in my backyard. It's not very exciting, but I'm thinking about pruning the apples, getting them to, you know, get some better light distribution within them, and kind of control the height of the Honeycrisp tree. Get it to bush out a little bit better, because it just wants to grow up. It's not growing out at all. The Cortland is kind of the opposite. It grows out like crazy, and it's not getting quite as tall, so I won't prune that one back as much. And the poor Sweet 16 is growing in the shade of another lilac bush and an ugly truck. So that's it for my inaugural video. If you've made it this far, thanks for tuning in. Maybe we'll see you tomorrow when I start pruning the apples.